No, there we go.
But
This time I actually know.
yeah, this
is a monumental moment.
Yeah, you're the one that started the recording, technically.
Mm-hmm. No, but I need to figure out what I'm running for tack, like what I'm gonna carry my arrows in. I'm thinking marsupial hip quiver.
Fair.
That I don't know if I want to run the hip quiver or I want to run a backpack. Because when I did Northwest Mountain Challenge last year, I ran a backpack and it worked well. But then again, I only lost one arrow throughout the entire course.
Sure. When I shot tag 2 years ago, I ran my Stonefish backpack. I did not enjoy it.
I have this little tack, like range bag, that works very well. I mean, the nice thing is not like I'm like having a handheld. So it's all like with my wrist wrap. Yeah. I just bring an extra wrist wrap. I bring water, and I bring my arrows and like a sun hoodie, and I'm good.
Yeah. I think I have been influenced to buy that farm.
I like the look.
Yeah.
I just heard good things about the marsupial.
It's marsupial.
Yeah. The FHF. They're basically the same thing with a different logo.
Mm-hmm.
Except the only thing that I really like about the marsupial is that you can do the water bladder connected to your vinyl harness, and then that straps onto your hip clip. It's like a full system. It's pretty sick.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty fair.
So like instead of like having the wrap like the normal, you basically just get this backpack and it straps.
Oh, I think I've seen that.
Yeah. You can have that all set up, and then you can put the hip quiver on. That's like a perfect kind of tack setup because I need water.
Same. Yeah.
I think it's drifter compatible too.
Nice.
So that's, dude.
Maybe initial set in day mode.
Yeah.
And then the hip quiver, something like that. We'll figure. Or the EDC. I can just bring the EDC and just run with that.
I'm probably gonna run. I want something. I don't want a frame.
Fair.
I sweat so badly when I'm in heat that I just like know that a frame would not do well for me at that.
Yeah, that's fair.
And like I'm not carrying heavy stuff. I'm carrying like an Allen set, an extra release, water, snacks,
something lightweight.
Yeah, something that folds the arrows well. So we'll see.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, there's time.
Yeah, we got a month, and then I'm just curious how I'm going to be because it's the weekend after my trip.
It's gonna be tough.
Did I tell you I'm signing up for 100 mile?
Why?
I'm signing up. I think so if me and my buddy Max, who I ran my first, I ran my first ever marathon last summer.
Yep.
Ran that without stomach issues, I would have gotten like a 3:45. With stomach issues, I had 4:15.
Okay.
And then this year I'm running Bighorn with him, which I'm a little worried about him because he lives in LA. Yeah. I sent him the wilderness athlete altitude stuff. I'm like, you need to take this, or you're gonna die.
He's gonna have a tough time.
Yeah, but he's coming up like a week before.
Okay.
So he'll get used to the 44,000, which at that point.
Yeah.
But so I'm running it with him, and we made a commitment that if we get under 8 hours, we're doing Salt Flat 100.
Oh, Omar's.
No, that was a different one. Salt Flat 100 is through the Great Salt Desert in Utah.
Yeah, that's where
he did. That was where his was?
That's the Salt Flat.
That's a different race.
Okay.
Yeah, the Salt Flat 100 is a pretty popular one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the one he did I thought was not very popular. Like, there's not a lot of people.
No.
I don't know. But basically,
brutal.
If we get under 8 hours, we have to start building logistics like pacers, crew members, drop bags, get like a van, rent a van.
There's a YouTuber, like a husband and wife, Karen and Nate. They are travel YouTubers, but recently Nate has gotten into doing like marathons and ultras. The Leadville 100.
Oh, Leadville's crazy.
Yeah.
Truett's doing that one.
Yeah, and it's like that was fucking insane. But
yeah, Salt Flat 100 is apparently relatively one of the mentally hard, physically easy marathons.
100 fucking miles.
Well, yeah, it's 100 miles, but that's neither here nor there. But because it's only 5,000 feet of elevation gain for the entire 100 miles.
Fair.
That's like nothing. That's like running flat for most of it. It's like a few hills.
Almost all at once.
Yeah, I mean, my 32 miler is going to have 10,000 feet of elevation and 14,000 loss. So I'm more worried about the loss than I am about the gain.
No, that's true.
My hamstrings are going to be cooked after it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes, they fucking are.
Dude, I've been running like so much because recently, like I went up highlight when it was closed.
Yep.
And I was like, I did 7. Yeah, 7. And I was like, I was running 7:30s up and 5:45s down.
Damn. That's very good.
Yeah, I felt good that day. And then yesterday I ran 5.5, felt nothing. And so at 11, I was heading over to go hang out with my homie.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not running or I'm not driving. So I ran them. I love it. And you know what clip kept playing in my head the entire time? It's the, well, it's Groundhog Day for David Goggins. 3 a.m. Look to your right, no one. Look to your left, no one. You know why?
Oh, boy.
But I had a David Goggins moment when I was packing up my bear, too.
Nice.
I was like yelling at myself.
Were you alone?
Kyle's. I have a whole story.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we won't get into the bear.
We'll get into the bear. We're just doing the normal podcast bullshit. I've discovered I finally, after 3 years of consistent training, have found that I enjoy finding my breaking point and pushing into it and past it.
You have to.
No, I know, but it's something. So, like, for the past 3 years, I felt like I've been on a plateau of it where it's like I'll find my breaking point and I'll push, kind of, but it'll be a hard push. But I finally have started, like, like when I was running those 7:30s up, like a highlight, it's like not a terrible incline, but it's an incline.
Sure.
And I just, like, dug deep and started feeling really good. So, my last one was like a 7:10.
Fuck yeah.
Like 20 seconds faster at mile like 3.5 of that climb up.
Nice.
So I mentally am feeling like I'm fortified full, like way more recently. And I've been like craving that sense of pain.
Nice.
I'm craving it.
That's a good mentality.
I think it's my psycho stuff.
Hey, whatever it takes.
So do you know the movie Chasing Mavericks?
Of course.
Yeah. So that, I watched that the other night because I was a little homesick.
Yep.
Because, like, I know, like, so many people in that movie, like the real life versions and, like, the actors, because it's my hometown. And there's, like, a quote at the end of the movie. It's like, I have a feeling I'm not going to be around for a long time, so I want to live my life with the risk of taking that drop when he's talking about Maverick.
Yep. And,
like, I was just repeating that quote in my head with my bear the entire time.
Nice.
Dude, that movie makes me nostalgic.
It's just from a purely like cinematic standpoint, that is a fantastic fucking movie.
It's fun. Dude, you know what I watched today?
Ooh.
To like hype myself up? 300.
You want to know something that may shock you?
What?
I've never seen 300.
What?
I've never seen 300.
Dude, this is Sparta.
Like, I know the main moments. I know the fucking Spartan kick into the fucking pit and all that shit.
You know, like, my favorite line from that is like, eat breakfast well tonight, because tonight we dine in hell. Yep. Dude.
No, I know all the line. It's just, it's the art style. It's just not me.
Dude, it's it's one of those movies where it's not a good movie, but it's entertainment. It is pure entertainment.
So I feel about the Master of Disguise.
Yeah. If you look at that movie and as a way to like motivate yourself to do something, it's fucking perfect. Because it's not really deep. There's not like different plot lines. It is one thing. They are ripped. They're in Speedos. They're killing random like monsters. It's sick.
So the closest I've ever gotten to watching 300 is Scream movie.
Okay.
They spoof it.
Yeah.
And put like one of the like, so there's a moment, and I was like, I resonate with this. That it's like they have, like all the dudes are fucking ripped and all that shit. They have the one fat guy that like jogs out, and they look at him like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" He's like, "I'm gonna go fight." He's like, "Well, you need a 6-pack." And he's like, fucking takes out an airbrush and fucking airbrushes it on. It's like,
dude,
hell yeah.
Gerard Butler's the shit though.
I love Gerard Butler.
Dude.
What's that fucking movie where he plays an LA County Sheriff's deputy? Den of Thieves.
Den of Thieves
that
is
movie's
sick.
Fucking great. That's like Heat, but like made in the 21st century. Yeah.
I watched Heat on the plane back from Colorado.
That is one of the most iconic.
That's such a good movie.
Yeah.
Such a good movie. Dude, and they have like Al Pacino, De Niro.
Yep.
Is Brad Pitt? No.
No. It's not Christian Bale, but I want to call him Christian Bale. The white
Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah. Guillermo del Toro.
When me and Kyler are in the backcountry, we watched Sicario.
Yes.
Dude, Sicario is...
Which one?
First one.
Okay.
The good one. We watched the second one back at the house, but the first one, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Dude, so good. And like the plot twist at the end where he's in the Colombian cartel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my God. It is so dope.
I will say, it's the second one where the border crossing scene.
Yeah.
Is one of my favorite scenes in movie history, but it also...
Which border crossing scene?
So they're bringing the dude across the border with like 4...
that's in the first one.
That's the first one?
The first one with the, like all
the cars. Yeah, because Emily Blunt's in it. Yeah,
it's the first one. That's a sick scene.
That's one of my favorite scenes.
Mexico is all time. Dude, I was like telling, like we were talking about Mexico, and I was like, I don't... Not all Mexico is like this. But when I was crossing in Tijuana, that is where I saw my like first dead body. Mm-hmm. Like this guy's head was exploded right next to the, and people using him as like a speed bump. And I'm like, this little 17-year-old white kid, like, get me out of here. Because I was living on the beach in Santa Rosalita for a few weeks. And that was beautiful. That was chill. It was very like calm. It was safe.
Yeah.
Dude, Tijuana.
TJ is crazy.
Yeah. But Juarez,
that's the fucking like most dangerous city in North America.
Yeah, 100%. No, but Sicario, I was like, and then we watched Goodfellas. I'm like, dude, Sicario makes Goodfellas look like a bunch of pussies.
Yeah.
The cartel is way bigger than the mob.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's because the mob has rules.
The cartel does not.
Yeah.
Well,
there's an honor code.
I will say we were I will forever love Goodfellas because we were watching in the car right before we went out on the hike to kill him.
Nice.
And I was like, I just need to listen to this one line. It's like, as far back as I can remember, I want to be a gangster.
Yep.
Dun, 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 dun. That line, I'm like, such a good line. Can't be hidden. That's a beautiful movie.
Just never,
dude. Have you read into actual Thermopylae?
Not more than I learned in college.
Okay. I read this book called Gates of Fire. I forget the author. It is a very thick, big book.
Sure.
But it talks about Thermopylae, and it was very significant, but it's really intricate. And they're talking about how some people believe, like philosophically, that the world would be a better place if the Greeks had lost versus Persians. Like more acceptance of medicine, more acceptance of different religion. It would have democracy was already taking roots in some parts of Persia. Like it wasn't like Greece was the last stronghold of democracy. It's really, and like modern medicine would be like a way more advanced. The Dark Ages wouldn't have happened. The Renaissance would have happened much earlier. The Roman Empire wouldn't have happened, which means that a lot more independent states would have been created throughout Europe. It's really interesting. It's fascinating. It shows like the different viewpoints. Like Thermopylae is a crazy moment in history of pure brilliant military strategy.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some people that believe that the Persians would have been better for the world as a whole.
Interesting.
It's cool. It like connects it back to like the sense of like individualism of based around Christianity and how it wouldn't have happened. So that means the like tensions around World War I wouldn't have happened, meaning World War II wouldn't have happened.
Interesting. Huh.
It's really cool. It's a great book. It's a fascinating read. It takes a while. Dude.
Huh.
I've been really in a big art and philosophy. I like finished Meditations after 3 years the other night. Dude, Meditations is amazing.
Yeah.
But Meditations, and then I like got really into art, so I ordered 2 pieces of art for my house.
I love art. Love it.
I love art too. So my favorite painting of all time is the Scream. I've seen it twice in real life. The actual Scream, beautiful. It's like very provoking. But this piece that I found and bought is Bonaparte beholds the Sphinx.
Ooh.
It like the representation and like what it's supposed to represent is incredible.
Ooh.
Just like how the sand is supposed to represent time, the Sphinx is supposed to represent history, and Bonaparte's rejecting history with his modern army in the background. It's very
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's like I looked at it for like an hour and a half, like just, and I think it's like Jean-Pierre Gaston, or something like that.
Nice.
It's a cool piece of art.
Mulberry Tree by Van Gogh is my favorite of all time.
Mm.
Because I can mentally put myself there. So
okay.
Nice big tree, shady spot on the ground, French countryside or Dutch countryside.
Nah, isn't Dutch?
He's Dutch.
Yeah, he's Dutch.
Yeah. But it's just, you go like, I can visualize myself sitting there.
Yeah.
So
I like the Scream just because of what, like the traveling and like.
Oh yeah.
I'm putting it above my toilet.
Jesus Christ.
It's the perfect spot for it.
You say so.
Dude, the Scream.
Face you make. Anyways, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Hunt Swiftly podcast. We appreciate you being here. Today,
20 minutes.
Yeah, we're only 20 minutes in before we get the intro. Today, we're going to be talking about Quintin's successful bear hunts.
Finally.
Yeah, we've talked about a couple very unsuccessful bear hunts, but finally, someone put a bear on the ground. It was Quintin. Yeah, it is a nice ass bear. It's on our Instagram.
It's decent. I'm happy. I'm very proud of it.
It's a good bear.
Took me 3 years to kill it.
It is a good bear.
I have history with that bear too.
Do you?
I do. You remember that story I told you about the missing one last year?
Mm-hmm. Same bear?
Same.
Fuck yeah.
I'm 99% sure same bear because it's the same spot, same exact pattern, coming from the same place at the same time with the same weather conditions, same color, just a little bit bigger.
Nice. Very nice.
History.
Oh yeah, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, for anyone that hasn't seen the pictures on our Instagram, go check them out. I might even, if you're watching on YouTube, I'll pop some photos up here in the edit.
Also, this is a great segue into 1,000 follower giveaway.
Yep.
We're posting the clip to be reposted here shortly.
Yep.
By the time this comes out on Tuesday, that clip should be up. Remember, tag us, repost it, comment, and tag your friends in the comments.
Yeah. And yeah, you'll hear about all the rules and stuff, and I'll be written in the description of that. But yeah, it's pretty sick. If you're following us on Instagram, you might get the opportunity to win a bunch of sick ass shit.
Very cool stuff.
And then on top of that, if you go to our website, huntswiftlypodcast.com, and you buy some merch and use code podcast, you'll get 10% off everything. Plus, there's already free shipping, so why not? All right, so bear hunt.
Bear hunt.
Let's just go over it. I'm just gonna let you talk.
All right. Start off. So as I've been mentioning before, I had a week set aside in between school schedules where I was gonna go bear hunt, and started off on that Monday with rain, and Tuesday rain, Wednesday rain, Thursday rain, Friday rain, Saturday kind of clear, little rain. Sunday, rain.
Yep.
All rain. So on Monday, I got out to the spot, sat on a glassy knob for about 6, 7 hours in my first spot. Didn't see a single thing except 2 mule deer. I was like, okay. And it's in like this like big kind of like downhill basin. So, and it's a dirt road in there. So the rain had started, it'd been shitty all day, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna sleep here tonight and I'll move in the morning. I wake up at 5 a.m. that day and just to downpour rain. And this spot has this notorious like runoff road. So I knew I had to like move. So I knew that was a possibility. So I didn't sleep in my tent that night. I took down the tent and I slept in my truck because I'm short enough where I can fit in the back seat comfortably. Most be nice. Very nice. So I had woken up and I immediately hopped into the driver's seat and booked it out of there just in time because it was getting like I was leaving the parking area and I was trying to take a right to go up the road and my truck was like sliding and it like slid out of the parking area into the road. It was so muddy.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah. And like I have decent tires. I had 4-wheel drive on. I was still sliding. Doesn't matter. So I get out of there and I go to this other parking lot and I fall asleep again for another 3 hours. And I'm like, oh, that sucked. Like my spot is just completely rained out. Like there's like a level of rain, which I'll talk about later, that bears will be out. This was one of those where they're going to be taking cover. It was like sideways, windy, just, and I hadn't seen a bear or anything worth staying for the entire time. So I was like, okay, I'm moving spots. I scouted the spot. I hadn't seen a bear. I haven't seen a bear there. Just I've heard of bears. I will say, waking up, saw a bunch of elk, some bulls. So that's on the Instagram as well. Some nice young.
They were good bulls. Well, they will be good bulls.
One of them had already grown in like his brow tines and was starting his main beams. And I'm like, that's either a young bull or good. So after that, I switched to. I went to this one spot near Bozeman, kind of like drove over there. I stopped at my house, drove over there, hiked up a few miles, kind of glassed into the valley below. It's like on this like ridge, and you follow the ridge and glass down the entire way. And I did that, got up like 4 or 5 miles, and I was like, I'm not seeing anything. And I'm like soaked because it's still pouring rain.
Yeah.
So I'm like all covered up with like my bag has the initial scent like rain cover. I have full rain gear, pants, everything on, and I'm just soaked. And I'm like, okay, I can either stay out here in the rain or I go home for 2 days because it was supposed to clear up on Friday, and I had stuff I had to do because I didn't moving in.
Yep.
So I went home that night at like 9 p.m., slept there, helped one roommate move all the stuff out, clean the house, got ready, and then the new roommate moved in. So that was kind of like my 2 days. And then on that Friday, my friend Kylie, she took off work and she was going to come with me. So that night we went to not the first spot, but this one spot that had the access had just opened up. Like most of Montana, the access was closed until the 16th.
Yep.
It was the 16th. So we went up there. We hunted the left. So if you think about it, there's like this big parking area. You can go to the right where you can get to 2 trails, and you go to the left where you get to 1 trail. That day, we left and got there around 3. Saw there's a few cars, nothing crazy. We went up to the left and we hiked and we got through we did about 5, 6 miles up there. Saw 2 things of bear sign, but what's weird is that this trail runs through the east. So there's private land So you can't hunt the private land, but the private land looks like the best bear country.
Of course. It always is.
Yeah, and we were like walking by and like there's like bear sign everywhere on this like private land, but we had another like mile to get through public. So we got to public all the way up and we sit in this underneath the tarp for an hour and a half, took a nap, and then we got to the glassing point, glass for a few hours, down into the other side of the valley where the two trails connect. We look around, we're like, okay, not really seeing anything, go back to the truck, got the peaks cooking, dried out some stuff, ate dinner, and went to bed because with her, I wanted to do more of a like car spike camp set. Sure. So we slept in the tent that night, woke up the next day.
Is that where the fire pit was from? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So we were very close to the truck.
Sure. Okay.
Just because it was just so much easier. And like she didn't have the equipment to go like full backpacking.
Sure. Yeah, cool.
It just wouldn't have worked out logistically. And there was no reason to, because we hadn't seen anything. Because I'm at day 3 of this, day 8 of the year, and I haven't seen it. Except for when I was running and right next to Yellowstone.
Yep.
So I didn't have a lot of information. So the next day, we wake up, eat breakfast, take our time, and we look in the parking lot, there's 20 cars. And I'm like, because it was the first nice day. And I'm like, oh, okay, we have to move spots. So we go drive up the valley and we go to the spot like 20 miles away, 15? And we go down this logging road all the way as far as we possibly can, set up the tent, and we go on this hike. This pissed me off, actually. There was like one other car, and they got us there after us, and we're getting our stuff ready, and there's these old people biking, and they're like, they pull into the one road, and there's like a second road to the left, and we think they're going up the right road because we were planning to go up the left. They just go up the left without talking to us, without asking, just go straight up. I'm like, what the fuck? Take me. Anyway.
Hey, public land, man.
I know. Public land, rich people who don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we go up to the right road. We just basically hunt this road the entire way up. We get to this massive glassing point, sit down. Oh, cool, mountain goats. And on our drive in, I forgot to add in, there was like a bull moose, like a young bull moose. It was pretty cool.
I saw the video.
Yeah. So we get up, we sit up there for a few hours, glassing in the trees, take a nap, eat food, and it starts dumping on us. And we're like, okay, we're going to move down. So we move down half a mile down this old logging road. And we get into the trees, glass on the other side, and just basically systematically glass our way back. And the entire time we're talking, like, so the day after that hunt in the morning, the new roommate was supposed to officially move in. And I was like, it'd be kind of, I don't know, I'd feel kind of weird if no one was home moving into a house. So I wanted to be like there just for the morning because I knew I bear hunt. So I didn't have to be out in the morning. So we decided, we've been out here for a few days, like, it's not going to hurt if we go home. I just help them move in and we leave in the morning.
Sure.
So basically we get back, we dump all the camp stuff, and we basically are like, okay, we're going to go light and fast. The weather's supposed to break around 3. We're going to get there at 1 so we can see how many people are there and kind of play by ear. So we go, and we went back to the spot where we camped out the first night because I had gotten a text from a buddy saying, oh, there's grizzlies. They sent me a photo. And I was like, that is a black bear. 100% a black bear. They sent me a photo. They thought it was grizzly. I think it's black bear. I'm not dissing on them. I just think it was black bear. There was nothing to me that said grizzly with that photo. So I was like,
other than it was color phase and it was black.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was that was.
There's no big hump. It's on a tree.
The ears don't look like grizzly. The snout don't look like grizzly. No, the hump didn't look like grizzly.
But it was a nice bear. So I was like, dude, I'm going back up there, and I was kind of a dick by going back up based off of his photo he sent. But I was like, dude, it's my spot. I showed him that spot, so I'm going up to that spot. I feel like I had the right to.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that?
If it's your all right, this is going to be a tangent, but if it is a spot that you found,
yes. Well, I was told about it by an old timer who I've hunted it for multiple years.
Sure. So if you have a spot that is given to you, like my elk spot was given to me. Well, I found it, and then it was confirmed to me that there were very good elk in there because my buddy killed a couple elk in there.
Yeah.
Then that is your spot. If you bring no, this is just, again, this is my opinion. If you bring someone into your spot, it is still your spot.
Yes, that is.
If you are actively hunting there, it is not their right to hunt that spot without you.
Yes.
Now, what's an even bigger crime? Like, okay, so I take my buddy hunting for the first time. It's all he knows. He goes to that spot again. Okay, that's fine. I'm like, okay with that. The cardinal sin is if you go take your buddy, show him the rope, show him the spot, you see animals, and then he takes someone with him without asking for permission first. Now, I understand it's public land. I understand I'm probably not the only person that hunts that spot.
100%.
But if you teach someone the ropes and then they go and take someone else to your spot, that is a no. That is something you don't do.
Yeah. Which, I mean, from what I was explaining, he said that his buddy, the one who he went with, was the one who found it, quote unquote. And I
wasn't coming at him and his buddy like at me.
Just in general.
Just like,
but I'm saying the situation. I 100% agree with that. But the reason why I'm not mad about it is because he said his buddy found it on Onyx, asked if it was a good spot, but he like said, "Oh, I've been up there. Let's go." Like, well, are you marking it?
Yeah, I can't do it because it's a recording of a live. But
we'll do. Yeah. Minute 31.
Yeah, I'll just go back.
Yeah, but he said that they had found it independently and wanted to go up there. And I was like, okay, I understand that, but I'm still going. I don't care. I'm still going. Like I feel like I have the right because I've hunted it for years.
Yeah,
few years.
It is your spot.
It is my spot. Like that I confirmed was a good spot. I had to let the individual know that that's a spot that I would be upset if he went to without me. But anyway, based off that information, I went back up there with Kylie. I was like, let's just go. Because the weather's supposed to break at 3. We get there, there's 1 car or 2 cars. And I'm like, those don't look like hunters. Like, they're like Subarus.
I was going to say, is it a Subaru?
Yeah. So I was like, okay, it's empty. Which makes sense. It's a Sunday evening. Yep. It's raining really hard. So we get there around like 1:45. And I'm like, okay, we'll sit. We sit and watch Goodfellas.
Nice.
Like I said earlier. In the truck. And I'm like, at 3 p.m. we're going out Color Highway. Cool. We get out. It's 3 p.m. There's a little tiny break. So we start our hike. And then both groups of hikers pass us. And they were recreators. Coming down. I was like, oh, how far you get up? They're like, oh, not that far. We just, like, we didn't go very far because of the rain. And I was like, oh, okay. In this spot, so this spot's like runs along this like big kind of creek river thing.
Sure.
And it's like a decently flat trail. There's a little incline, a little decline. And there's like a few like meadows along the trail. And this one meadow at the very end before you go right or left to like climb or go to and like deeper in is where I shot at that bear last year.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I don't really feel like climbing this. I'm demoralized as hell. Like I'm like, I haven't seen a bear. It's day 5. I haven't seen a bear. I'm feeling demoralized as hell. This is year 3 of barely seeing bears. Like I'm feeling like down in the dumps. But I'm like, okay, we're gonna go the 2.5 miles in, get to this meadow. And we get to this meadow, and I'm like, we'll just set up here. So we set up the tarp, like just set it up. After we get through the hike, I'm like, okay. And I'm like, okay, I must change my jacket. As I'm digging in, changing my jacket, Kylie's looking out across the meadow. She's bang, bang, bang. And I would turn around, and I'm like, oh shit, that's a black bear. Like I thought, because this is a high population grizzly area, so I was like, that could either be a good thing or a bad thing.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh shit. And I throw on my orange and I pull out my, like, I unclip my gun. It's staring at us. And it doesn't know what we are. The rain, the smell is nothing because the rain is dumping, like dumping.
Yeah.
And I like pull the rifle out. I put it on the ground, rack one, and I drop in the prone and it runs off. And I was like, oh fuck. Like I just blew it. And I was like, but I was in like kill mode. And this is where I know the mental reps that I've done in the red zone paid off because I'm like, Kylie, predator call. She hands me a predator call, I blow it. It looks like I have them on a line, just from the back trees straight back to us, like full tilt, full sprint. It was the craziest moment in my entire life. This thing is sprinting and it gets to this rock pile. And I'm like, I don't know what the yardage is because I can't with the rain, but I know that's under 200 yards. And it's poking his head at us. And at this point, after I blow the predator call, see him running through the trees back at us, I'd gone on the gun. I'm sitting on the gun and he pokes his head out and gives me this perfect look right into his chest and his head. I shoot, the gun bounces up, and I'm like, I either missed him completely or that went perfectly in like the median of the collarbone into his chest, into his lungs, into his heart, and dropped him. I'm like, which way did he run? And Kylie's like, he didn't run. I'm like, what? He's like, he didn't run. Or he either ran straight back because there's this thicket behind him. I was like, he either ran straight back or he's dead right there on this rock, 8 yards. And I'm like, fuck. I don't know if I just killed a bear or missed a bear.
Yeah.
Same spot, same situation, very fast. Like I had a split second to throw on my orange, rack my gun, and put it on the ground. Like not ranging, not anything. Yeah. And before I blew that predator call, which predator calls, they fucking work.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They work with bears. They like, if I ever need a bear to come back out, I'm blowing. But because that was like one of the craziest, like seeing it run back from the trees after getting spooked at like movement. Because my guess was he didn't smell us. He kind of, bears don't have great vision.
Yep.
So my guess is that he saw something move when I dropped in the prone and didn't know what it was, so he bolted it. And then when I blew the predator call, he's like, "Oh, that must have been a dying something and food." So that's why he came back and checked us out.
Yeah.
So I like after I shoot him, I like am like, okay, I'm gonna give it 5 minutes. So we sit there and then it's like, oh, it's not. Fuck, did I kill him? Is he dead right there? Is he in the thicket? Is he still alive? Did I miss him? Where did I hit him? Everything's running through. I knew I knew my rifles died. Yeah. I practiced all year. I knew it was under 200 yards. It's a 7 PRC, so it shoots flat. It should not have had an issue. If anything, it should have hit high, but I aimed perfect. Like it gave me no broadside shot besides the first interaction. And I knew that shot is like the way I had the confidence in my rifle and the way I have confidence in my shooting ability. And I was in a covered area, so I didn't have rain in my scope or anything. I knew that like it should be dead.
Yeah.
Just like devastation in a perfect spot in a flat shooting bullet in a high cal. Like there was like 99% of me thinking it's dead, but the 1% of me that's just like, I missed a bear last year at this kind of distance. Did I do enough? This was like running through my head. And I'm like, okay, let's go. And we cross the 80 yards across the meadow. It is purely just across this meadow. And like, we get to this like thicket of alders right in front of the trees. And I look over and I'm like, he's right there. And I'm like, oh my God, chocolate. And I'm just like, in shock, and Kylie's like, dude, you just killed a bear.
If I can interject really quickly, if you follow Quintin on Instagram, which you should, there's a video of that moment.
There is a video, like an exact video of like my face.
I've never seen him that like just holy fuck, that just happened.
Dude. I had to post that video because I've had that moment too before. It's like, oh, I killed my first elk. Like, not to like take away from it, like, oh, I just killed my first elk. Like, like I was excited, but I knew I'd done it. This was one of those like 3 years of hard work coming and paying off in one moment. Just like the emotion just rushed in. I'm like, the adrenaline dropped. I'm just like shaking, and I'm just like, yes. And she's like, you just killed a bear. I'm like, just kill a bear. And I'm like, I have to check who's actually dead because we need to move. Because, like I said, this grizzly. Gunshots are dinner bells. And it was like 4:45. I have the exact timestamp because I tagged it before I touched it because that's what you're supposed to do. I wanted to follow this by the book in every possible way. I did not want any reason I would lose this bear. Any reason at all. So I e-tag it, validate the tag. It's 4:44 p.m. I then am like, take my rifle. Hand me the 10 mil. Because I had Kylie holding the 10 mil bear spray. I just had the rifle.
Sure.
I was like, I'm okay with dying. I don't want her to die while here kind of thing.
Sure.
I take the 10 mil and a stick and I go walk up and I poke at the bear and I poke it and it just, and I'm like, that's a fucking death groan. Like,
no.
But I know when I hit chest and cavity, so it wasn't going to be like the, like, you know, like you see the videos of the death groan, like if you hit a broadside, it's like, it just sounded like gas release.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a dead bear. I just killed a bear. And I had this moment of like, that's not a grizzly bear, right? That's not a grizzly bear. And she's like, no, you fucking idiot. And I'm like, look, that thing is like, that thing is almost black. So it was a chocolate bear. And I'm like, that's not a grizzly bear, right? I'm just like, so much adrenaline, so much like, it happened so fast. And I knew it wasn't a grizzly bear, but the area, the size, the hump, there's no hump. I knew it if it would have been, but I had so much adrenaline ripping through me. This had been such a hard fought goal. I put so many days, so many hours. I'm like, I really hope I didn't fuck up. I know I didn't fuck up, but I just need someone to tell me I didn't fuck up, kind of thing. And I'm just like, that's not a grizzly bear, right? And she's like, she looks at me like, are you stupid? You're the one who just gave your buddy shit because he thought he saw a grizzly bear. It's a black bear. You know what a black bear and a grizzly bear is. You're not stupid, and you look at bears constantly.
For the listeners, because I've seen both pictures, was it the bear that your friend said?
No, it's completely different. It was that bear. You've seen the photo, right? Yeah. No, that's way more cinnamon. This one was like dark chocolate.
This is just for the listeners to verify.
Yeah, the photo I got was a big cinnamon. The one I shot was a chocolate with a blonde face.
Yep. That's a good looking bear, man. It really is.
I like it. I didn't think I wanted a chocolate, and then I shot that one, and I'm like, the blonde face with the gray line. I'll get into it. So
bear's on the ground. What's next?
I tag it before anything. Like I had played this moment out in my head so many times. Like, so that's why I like knew instinctively to throw my orange to start.
Yep. Didn't want to be like that kid in India that shot one from the tree stand. Corda did put it on Instagram. Thought it was orange one.
Yeah. No. Well, I try with bears specifically and everything. I try to be as legal and
intuitive as possible. Absolutely.
As you should be.
Yep.
But it was one of those moments where it's like I had 2 seconds to do it, and instinctively I threw on the orange. I didn't throw on the bino harness because I knew I couldn't get a range with the rain, and got on the gun. So if you look at the videos, I don't have a bino harness on, but I have my orange on because that's why. And so basically, I'm at this bear and I poke it, and I'm like, dude, we have to gut it. And Kylie's like, don't you want photos and stuff? I'm like, we're on the clock. We need to move. So I'm like, what I need you to do is take my rifle, go run and grab my kill kit. I'm going to adjust the bear. We can take photos on the rock, which that on my Instagram, my actual Instagram, is the exact rock that he was standing on. So I put him on the exact rock with the paw out, kind of like had moved. You could see I had my hand on his head because I was about to flip him. And I also immediately, as she was checking, I will check for Sal. Because I was like, I better not shot Sal. I didn't have anything with it when it ran away. So I look, I'm like, that's boar. Nice. That, for people who don't know, shooting a boar eliminates so many extra problems. Like, you're not worrying about a sow with cubs. You're not worrying about looking for lactation. You're not dealing with, like, this a million other things that come with sows. I knew I'd shot a boar, and I was very happy I did because it saved. Even if it was a sow, I wouldn't have been happy because I knew there wasn't cubs.
Yep.
Because the cubs would have ran with, or they would have been hidden away. But, like I said, I had history with this exact spot with the exact kind of bear, and there was nothing with it last night. So at that point, I checked Boris out. It was a boar. My like stress levels just decreased. Don't have to deal with like checking lactation, looking around for cubs, calling the game warden so they can come look for the cubs. It was boring. So I had watched this video from Cliff Gray on how to do it right. So I started gutting. Yeah. So with deer and elk, I usually just cut the trachea at the throat and then pull.
Yep.
I don't do that. I didn't do that. I went up from the asshole up to the sternum, and I start like cutting away, and we got it out. Kylie was a stud in that because I was like literally like arm deep grabbing the trachea from behind. I'm like, cut the diaphragm wall. She cuts the diaphragm. We get the guts out, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna just leave the like bladder and the like the like the colon in because we need to move. I carry the guts 400 yards away into the trees. I come back. She had collected like all the, but she had collected all the knives and she'd kind of cleaned up everything. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna move this. And at this point, I still have so much adrenaline going because I'm like, I just bear. This is 3 years of hard work. I haven't seen a bear all year that's leaving a shoot. It's a decent sized bear. I thought initially he was going to be like taped out 4.5, 4 3/4, taped up to 5.
Nice.
So I'm very happy that it came out 5 perfectly from the tip of the nose to the tip of the tail. Very happy with that.
Okay.
Because I literally said I want to shoot a 5-foot bear. You can't really judge him. I knew he was like not a dinker bear, but he was like definitely skinny and a little short. But she's like, okay, I'll grab the rears, you grab the fronts. I'm like, nah, I'm going Ken Haynes on this. I get on the ground, grab it over my shoulders, stand up, and this is gonna be it. And I put it over my shoulders, blood starts dumping on out of my back. I shoulder this bear, and I'm like, dude, this thing is my guesstimate is about a 200-pound bear with guts.
Okay.
So it's not huge, but decent size.
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to be about 4.5 years old.
Okay.
Just kind of in the moment, I thought he was a smaller bear. He had a little gray on his face. So he had the full chocolate body, like dark chocolate. His face and snout were blonde, like bright blonde, and he had a little bit of gray around his eyes.
It's a good looking bear.
It's a good looking bear. I'm excited. So we then move him across to where the tarp is, which is 80 yards away. So we're about 500 yards, 480 away from the gut pile. And I'm like, okay, it's 5:15 now. We took a bunch more photos there because I'm like, now that we dealt with the guts, that part, we have a little bit, we would know if something's coming.
Yeah, for sure.
Take a bunch more photos. And then that's where that photo of like the bear in front of the tarp is. So I really like that photo. Like the perspective.
Yeah.
Like not 0.5 or anything. That's just perspective. So from there we skin it, which is an entire. There's so much different than deer and elk with skinning. Like
that's just
kind of.
This is my fucking edit points. Yeah.
But there's so much different than deer and elk that like I've watched so many videos on how to properly skin out a bear for the taxidermist. Yep. I'm obsessed with bears, to be honest with you.
They're cool animals.
They're fascinating. And I feel like there's so much more weight to killing them than like a deer or an elk. Like, because they're not like, deer and elk season. They're beautiful animals. They're majestic. But you can go drive around and find herds of them.
Yep.
You're not going to find a herd of black bears.
Yep.
So they're like solitary kind of creatures where they're just beautiful. In Montana, they're significantly like one of the hardest states to hunt spawn stop. It was like a moment of like, oh my God, I did this. But anyway, we cut it up. I watched, like I said, religiously on how to do it correctly for the taxidermist.
What video would you recommend people go listen to and watch if
Meat Eaters Ranella with John Hayes, the taxidermist?
Yep, I agree.
It is that and Cliff Gray's video on gutting, where it's for me like you just gut it the same way you cut an elk. deer and elk, but instead of cutting the throat, you just go in there and cut the trachea.
Yep.
But those two videos were the biggest helps. But Renella's with John Hayes.
Yep.
Was so I did my opening cuts just like the video. I messed up a little bit on here, and because I cut a little bit too close, not like above the bicep.
Ooh.
But we skinned it out with only poking 2 holes. So I called it.
There you go.
And I was talking to FWP guys. They're like, "Oh, that's kind of good that you have 2 holes only, because one of them had to be filled with the tag, so that even if you didn't make a hole, they would have made a hole."
Yeah.
So, but anyway, we skin it out. Kylie, she's a pre-vet, so she is like way better than me with a like scalpel.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking my skinning knife, like this brownie skin knife, and like cutting like the big chunks, like getting that. And she's going through and doing the joints at the paws. So she did those perfectly. And we kind of like, we finish up, we do all 4 of the paws, we cut all the meat, and then we get to the head and we find the joint, and I'm like, look at the time, it's like, okay, it's like 6:30. We need to still butcher the meat and get it in the bags and move out. I take my saw and just, because I don't want to fuck up the head, especially. It's like one of the most important parts.
Oh, yeah. Especially if you're gonna rub it.
Yeah. So my plan, I'll talk about that. The taxidermy process was a whole process itself too. So we get the head off, we get the hide off, and then I go through, we butcher all 4 like fronts and backs. I take as much meat, like flank, I took backstrap, tenderloins. I didn't take rib meat, but you like split the hip, did all that like you would with a normal elk. And at this point, we have everything laid out, the hides sprawled out cooling, and then I deal with the carcass by moving it another 200 yards away to the opposite direction. So there's a gut pile 500 yards that way, carcass 200 yards that way. We have a good room. We pack up all the stuff, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take the rears. I'll take the loose meat and the hide. And Kylie, you could take the front. She's like, no, split the loose meat. I want to feel this too. I was here. I helped. I'm the first one who saw the bear. I should have some of the suffering.
True.
Yeah. She's like, I should have some of the suffering too. And I'm like, what a woman.
Kylie's like this tall.
Yeah, she's about 5 foot and 100 pounds. And I'm like, okay. So we load up my pack, which was probably about 100 pounds, because we did one trip. It is grizzly country. It was like 7:30 at night. We had an hour and a half till 9. That's when it was going to get dark. We had one trip. So I did the math the other day. I probably about 40 pounds of meat, 20 to 25 pounds of hide, and then 20 pounds of gear. Is that the math? About 100 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm doing the math wrong, but I ruck consistently with. I ruck consistently with 80, and I know what 80 feels like. This was heavier than 80.
Yeah.
So it was definitely like, this is either within 90 to 100 pounds. And then we load hers up. She had a Killick pack. That's on the meat shelf section. 300 pounds. It was surprisingly well made. So we load her up. She probably has like 40 pounds with meat, and then 10, 15 pounds of gear. We each use one of my trekking poles, and we hike the 2.5 miles out.
Fuck yeah.
And dude, it was one of the hardest pack outs I've ever had. Purely because it's 100 pounds. It's not flat. You're running through there's like 2 or 3 creek crossings.
Yep.
I have a trekking pole, and I'm just like, every half mile, literally my legs just turn to jello and I collapse. All the while, I put the hide in the Stone Glacier, what is it called? The load cell bag.
Okay.
So I had the Go Hunt game bags, which worked fantastic.
Yep.
For the meat. And then I used the Stone Glacier bag. Load cell bag for the hide. And I put the meat on the meat shelf, and I put the hide into the bag itself. And because of the weight of the head, because it had a pumpkin, like this head was not a light head, so it was like sliding out. So what I ended up doing is one hot tip that FWP really thanked me for was putting a stick in the snow for tooth data. So we had the jaw open, which is good, but I basically had to move it, and then I put my initial scent like lid over the top of the head, basically covering the eyes, and I cinched down the ones next to the frame, and I cinched down the ones up front, and it finally got to like sit flat.
Nice.
Because it kept like for the first half mile, it kept like sliding out.
Okay.
And then I used one of the middle straps to like put it in its teeth against that wood, and that helped a lot too. Until I got that like the full lock in.
Yeah.
But 100 pounds, it was hard as fuck. But the initial ascent, that's a highlight.
Performed well?
Very well.
As advertised?
100%. Like, it was hard. 100 pounds is 100 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
But if I had my own stone glacier, I would not have been able to. I would have had to like drop half the meat and come back. It was comfortable for the weight.
Yeah.
And like we got it done. We got back to the truck at exactly 9. So 2.5 miles with 100 pounds. Hour and a half. So we were cooking.
Yeah, you're moving.
We were moving because I was like, I'm just like thinking. So like in the half mile, I was like screaming at myself like, "You fucking quitter! Don't fucking quit! They don't know you. They don't know me, son." I'm like yelling out David Goggins quotes. I'm like, "Fucking who's gonna carry the boats? Me, motherfucker, me!" I'm like yelling this. Kylie's in the back, like trudging along. Like she was apparently like, one more step. And I was just screaming at myself. I'm like, "Take the motherfucking souls, baby. Souls." And so we get back to the truck. We dump that off. And I'm like, that was so hard. Like I have videos that it's like, that was so hard. And we get back. I just basically pull my rifle from my pack. Because that's the thing, like with rifle gear and all that, it was heavy. So I put the rifle in the truck. I unload everything in the lid and I put it in the truck because it was all like electronic kind of stuff, the headlamps, all that. And I basically just leave it in the bed because it's for the reference, it's still pouring. This entire time, it is still pouring rain.
Yeah. So
we're hiking out. My hair's like in my face. Like I'm like, my rain gear had wetted out midway through cutting up this bear. It's a part of the process. It shows how
it's bear hunting.
It's bear hunting. I love it. I fucking want to do it the rest of my life. But so we get back to the truck, all that. We go, we drop off, we load up the meat in coolers, and then we spread out the bear long ways, let it cool. And then I sent Swifty, I sent you that photo.
Yep.
We got a lot to talk about this week.
Fuck yeah.
But overall, we taped him out there, 5 foot, chocolate with blonde hair, some gray on his face. And afterwards, this is the part that's like the fun part, but this is like the logistical kind of nightmare of bears.
Yeah, of predator hunting.
Really. Predator hunting in general, yeah. So, one, I had to go to FWP.
It's Montana Fish Wildlife Park.
Yes.
All Montanans.
Yes. They checked in the bear, make sure it's not a grizzly bear.
Yep.
They were like, "You left proof of sex." I'm like, "Yes." I'm kind of pissed because I accidentally left the baculum in there, so I dropped off at the taxidermist from the baculum.
It's okay.
Hopefully they keep it.
Jenny's dope.
I'll get into that whole
yes
too. Check it in, and at this time I'm still like, this is like a 4.5-year-old bear, like, and I get it checked in. I learned how to do this entire process all that day because this is my first time killing a bear.
Yeah.
So I call the hotline, give them section, region, like township, all that, map range. They're like, "Cool, here's your PIN." I go to the office, I give them my PIN, I give them my ALS number, and they are like, "Okay, cool, just drive around back." The guy comes out and inspects it. He's like, "You did a good job on this. Like, you have everything you need. Everything's intact. It's done by the book." I'm like, "Perfect." Because all the while I had like a nightmare, like they're gonna take my bear. Like I did something wrong. Yeah. And I'm like, I didn't. But I was like,
it's always in the back of your head, like, did I fuck this up?
Like, did I do something wrong? And like, they check it, they're like, "Cool, baculum, we don't even have to check for lactation. That's perfect." They go through, they're like, "Cool." They take out the premolar on the right side. And then he's like, "This is a really old bear." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Look at the teeth decay." And so like the front teeth are like nubs.
Yeah.
The bottom teeth are like beat. Everything's. He's like, dude, he literally wrote in the comments like older bear. He's like, this is like a short, stubby bear, but based off the teeth, my guess would be like 10 or 11. And I was like, really? That makes it way cooler.
Yeah.
So it was according to FWP's guess, it's a very old bear. I have to wait a year till I get my tooth data back.
I was gonna say they'll send you all that shit.
But if it's like apparently it's like 4, which I'm really excited about because I thought he was like 4.5, 5, which is still like a technically mature bear, but to find out it's older than that and it just had bad genetics makes it cooler.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like he had reached his prime.
Yeah.
And his prime just wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get it checked in. I get back to the house and I texted Swifty. I'm like, let's get taxidermist. And he's like, 406 taxidermy. And I'm like, okay. I call her up. And at this point, I looked at the price and I'm like, oh, $1,500. I think I'm going to just get a tan. Like $500 and then Euro.
Yeah.
And I call her and she's like, we're not doing tans, only doing rogues and some shit. And I thought about this for a long time, for like 10 minutes while I'm driving home from FWP. And I'm like, this has been a 3-year grind.
Yeah.
I've put in countless hours, countless days, countless minutes. Is this worth to me the $1,500? I said 100%. If I had killed this year 1, I don't think I would.
Sure.
But this is a 3-year grind process where I've put my heart and soul into looking for this.
And you have history with the bear.
And I have history with the bear.
Yeah.
I think it would make sense that
we'll say you do.
We'll say I do. But it's like this moment of significance where I worked so hard to achieve this goal. Why would I not just do it?
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck. I call her back. I'm like, hey, I really want to just I'll get a rug for what's your deposit? She's like $500 plus, and I'm like, can you do it on a card? Yes. 3% fee. So I drop off the meat and leave it in the cooler. I drive to Belgrade, drop it off. We roll up. She's working on this like big elk, and I'm like, that's sick. Super cool lady, super cool. And like, I'm talking to her. I drop off the bear. She's like telling me about this like bear from Libby that had tons of ticks. So she's like, yeah, we'll put this in the freezer for a few days. I don't think, where'd you kill it? You don't have to tell me, but it would help me know if there's ticks on it. I'm like, oh, I killed it in this range. She's like, oh, that range doesn't really have ticks. I barely see them on those. So we'll just put it in the freezer for a few days. But I was like, okay, what's your turnaround time? She's like, about 18 months.
Yep.
And I'm like, checks out.
She's one of, if not the most popular taxidermist in the valley.
Yes. But we put, and it's going to be a copper under rug and then a dark brown up in front of copper. Perfect match the colors. I like asked her recommendations. She said, if I was going to do it, I'd do this. Because it looks good. It highlights the colors well. And like, so I was like, perfect. She's like, yeah, I'll probably have your Euro mount ready for you earlier. But the rug's about 18 months because she sends it to a tanner and then to the like shad.
Yeah.
So I'm like, sweet. And she's like, I had to ask, how come you changed your mind? I was like, you came highly recommended from a friend. And after contemplation, this meant so much to me that I think it was worth it to bring it to someone who actually does a good job with it. And she's like, well, I appreciate that. Tell your friend I said thank you. So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Jenny is fucking sick.
Yeah, she's very nice. But she was like showing me like how they like sew the armpits in and put in like a little synthetic hair and dye it and make it so that way it looks a little bit more full. So because it was pretty rubbed out along the armpits for sure. Just because spring bears do what spring bears do. They just start rubbing, get some hair going.
If you were asleep for 6 months, you'd do the same.
So they're gonna fill it in, but that like the process of dropping off, it's expensive, but for something that I worked so hard for, it made way more sense to me to get. And then I went back that day and we butchered the meat, cleaned it up because it had mud and dirt on it because it was raining. We were working quick. We got a little hose, used gloves, moved off the big pieces, and then basically just deboned it. And actually tomorrow I'm gonna go drop it off to get completely some sausage.
Really?
Yeah. I hold that animal in such reverence that I could do it myself, but I want it done right.
Yeah.
You know, And I wanted to use it as a way to show that you can enjoy it. Because jalapeno summer sausage, come on, it's pretty good.
It's fantastic. I hate fucking bears. So it's like
I'm gonna
really good ham or summer sausage.
Yeah, I'm gonna get all summer sausage.
Dude.
It's about 37 pounds.
God damn, that's a lot of sausage.
Yeah,
that's a lot of fucking.
That's all deboned, but
beauty.
I'm gonna get it in like 2-pound logs, so it'll be like 15, 16 logs.
Beautiful.
But I'm gonna bring a bunch to California because actually I called my parents and well, this is a funny story. And my dad's like, yes, microgenitals. I'm like, yeah, that's how my dad answers the phone. And I'm like, hey, check your text. He's like, why? I'm like, check your text. He's like, holy fuck. And we're at a party. And he's like, holy shit, you did that? And in the background, my mom was like, what do you do? My dad's like, come look. And my mom's like, oh my God. And they're at this party, and this guy who I call my uncle, he's like a very close family friend. Like, I grew up without like actual family around me, so like family friends can't, uncles and all.
Absolutely.
He's like, started getting upset, and apparently my dad's been getting shit from people about it all week because people don't understand.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they see this furry woodland creature, and I'm like, hey, and like if
they're fucking cute. Let's be honest. They're cute. Bears are fucking adorable.
They're adorable, but I understand the fallout from it, from coming where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
So on my actual Instagram, I wrote a paragraph about it.
Yeah.
And I explained the need for management of these animals for their population and for deer and elk.
Yep.
Kind of went through the motions, and my dad like texted me. He's like, I was talking to my dad. I'm like, oh yeah, like, has people giving you shit? He's like, yeah, I've been getting shit. I'm like, hey, you know what you should tell them next time when they give you shit? And he's like, what? I'm like, learn how to fucking read.
Yeah.
And he's like,
I mean, you also like, so you're from California, and fairly recently, in the last year, like California doesn't have a huge bear management as far as I've kind of like read about.
yeah, there's a great bear.
And they just had a lady get killed by a black bear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if you don't manage the population, that's what happens.
It's like grizzlies here. Yeah. That is why all outdoorsmen will say that grizzlies manage, because if for nothing else, it's to instill the fear of man.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, if they don't have a fear of man and see you as a food source, that's when issues happen and you kill bears unnecessarily.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I mean, realistically, like when you think about it, just from a conservation standpoint, would you rather have someone shoot a bear that is like working for it and
pays for the money,
has put their time and their effort and is going to use the meat, is going to treasure the hide, is going to tell all their friends and reminisce about this bear
and value it and bring it to it and support the economy with taxidermy
or do you want an FWP game warden to go put it down because it became a nuisance bear because humans continue to expand into their native habitat where they live and they spend their lives, and because humans have pushed their way in, it becomes then a nuisance bear, which I think is a bullshit term. It's just humans being irresponsible, and then having to have that bear euthanized.
100%. Or even worse, having a bear that is killed in self-defense, and the person gets hurt, and so both parties lose.
Yeah,
I don't know, but coming from California, the reason I really want to get the summer sausage done and that much quantity is because it's an easy entry, and I'm gonna be doing like the whole try this, and see what they think.
Yeah, we talked about it in the last episode.
Yeah, just have them try it, and if they don't like it, then I'll be like, okay, cool. But if they like it, I'm gonna tell them that's bear, and then they'll understand.
Yeah, it's hard not to love summer sausage.
It's very hard. It's especially jalapeno cheddar.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm dropping it off tomorrow. That's like
apples.
Yeah. Daniel's. So my new roommate works at Daniel's, and Daniel's is an accepting bear, and they're not accepting bear.
No, it's fair.
Yeah. So, but I will say one thing I do genuinely take pride in. I can get as much meat out of something as possible. And I did with this one. Like, I took every little scrap I could carry. And I paid for it. and I cashed in with a fucking heavy backpack and deboned, completely clean, defattened, like silver skinned, ready for grind. Basically, I got 37 pounds.
Nice.
And it's perfectly clean. And I know they can use every bit of it. I did not leave any questionable pieces.
Yeah.
So 37 pounds, which doesn't sound like a lot, is a lot of fucking sauce.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will enjoy that for months. And I'm going to bring it elk hunting with me because summer sausage is perfect for elk hunting.
Yep. Fuck yeah.
So that was my bear experience. And I will say I would be okay with spending another 3 years looking for a bear purely because dealing with the bear is a lot more expensive than just boiling a skull.
Yes. 1,000%.
I think if I killed a bear of a similar caliber, similar size, I would just get it tanned out next time.
Sure.
I think this one just was so monumental to me that I needed to like invest and get the rug.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same reason why I'm waiting for the bear. A bear.
Yeah. I agree with that. It just this was such like a this has been the one part of my hunting journey that I feel as though people are like, oh yeah, sure. Like
yeah.
You know, like I don't know.
It's an expectation. You go bear hunting, you shoot a bear.
The opposite for me.
Really?
I know a lot of people think, oh, he's just being crazy. Like he's not gonna actually kill a bear.
Really? That's surprising.
Coming from in California.
Oh.
So they think that I'm just like pulling this as a stunt. And like it's been 3 years of me saying like, oh, I'm going bear hunting. They're like, oh, okay, you're just going to
yes.
Like you're not going to kill a bear actually. But this was my like that's why if you look in my comment section, they're like, finally.
Yeah. True.
Because I talk about bear hunting with these people and they're like, have you killed a bear? I'm like, no. They're like, so it was my final, like this moment of like reverence, respect, accomplishment, hard work genuinely paying off.
Okay.
Years in the making of me putting in hours, miles, days, not slacking, not going for turkeys, not going for sheds, scouting for bears, looking for sign. I'm now gonna foray into it because I'm gonna be bored as fuck when I go out this weekend.
Shed hunting is stupid. Drew.
He cleaned up though.
Yeah. But did you see how many fucking cars were there?
Yeah.
I don't get that. I don't understand shed hunting.
Me neither. I'm gonna just look for sheds because I'm gonna be bored and I don't like
for sure. For sure. That I understand. That's different.
I've tagged out on my big spring item, if that makes sense. So now I can go turkey hunt. I might go turkey hunt. I'm not gonna like if like someone invites me, like if I get a text from like one of my boys like, hey, you wanna go turkey hunt? Like I'm not gonna say no.
Yeah.
I will say I've had a lot of people like be like, could you guide me? Could you come out bear hunting with me? And I'm like, dude, I don't think it took me 3 years. Why do you think
$1,500?
Yeah, $1,500.
What's my guide service fee? $1,500. I pay for that road.
I will say, I'm very excited, and I'm very excited for the meet. I'm trying to drop it off, and it should hopefully be done when I leave in July.
Okay.
Yeah. I will say one of the highlights of gear that I was using was the drifter for some things. But like when I had everything loaded up, the hose was a little short. So
do you have the extension in?
No.
Okay.
Because usually it's perfect length.
Sure.
But when I had all that meat kind of like pressed out, it got a little short. So, but I will say the pressurized hose for washing my hands after that bear, dude, highlight of that gear. I like used the compression and we like washed our hands. So that way, when I was walking back, I wasn't just smelling bear constantly.
Yeah, the bears are coming there.
Yeah, they smell. Yeah. But the drifter, when I used that, dude, I genuinely was like the most morale boosting thing ever.
Really?
Just having like not super disgusting hands because I had the pressurized water to wash my hands.
Yeah.
Was perfect. And then I used the filtration system for the first time. when the other day, and it was like when I was on Tuesday, I used it and just like on this creep, and it worked so well.
Okay.
It's super nice. I would rate it. My experience with it for the application 9 out of 10. No, the only reason I wouldn't give it 10 out of 10 is just because I didn't bring the extension, which is on me.
Yeah.
So, but I will say that drifter. If I had any other bladder, I wouldn't be surprised with the amount of like get pressed in it if it popped. The Kylie used my Heartside hydration.
Mhm.
Those worked well, but she also didn't have as much stuff.
Sure.
But for that hand washing, that little bit of morale boost.
Yeah. Little quality of life, like just.
Yeah, I had a little problem with the magnet too. Just when they got so soaked that it just was a little.
Sure.
But besides that, it's completely. I had full confidence in it, and I was way happier I had it than if I.
Yeah. All right. So, what other gear highlights you get?
So the initial scent, like we talked about, very high. Drifter hydration, I would say, very much up there. Let's see. Oh, right. The Bodhi feature of the podcast is
absolutely. It's every single podcast Bodhi is on.
Oh, hey. Highlights, my Outdoor Edge knife worked very well.
Do you have a replaceable blade or okay?
Replaceable Outdoor Edge.
Outstanding. I did have a question because you mentioned it. What saw do you have?
The silky pocket board.
It's a silky.
Yeah, pocket board. That thing worked. For cutting wood, it was great. It was exactly what I needed for my peak stove, and for cutting the hip and cutting the because the saw motion is back is how they cut it. It worked very well with bone because you're not like pushing into the colon area. You're literally just ripping it back, and it worked fantastically on bone.
Perfect.
And the blades were very sharp still. So that's a highly recommend buy is the Silky Pocket Boy.
Cool.
Let's see what else. There's a few pieces of gear that really stood out. The Sitka gun and gloves. The new ones.
The new ones?
Those are my gloves of choice now. I'm not a Sitka guy. I've openly talked about Sitka. Those gloves are the shit. The perfect amount of insulation for spring.
Yeah.
They were warm enough where I wore those throughout all those rainstorms, completely not dying of cold. They were cool enough where on the sunny days when I was wearing a t-shirt, I would wear those still to carry around bust and brush and stuff. The leather is tough. It dries quickly. It doesn't stink. Highly recommend the gunner gloves. I'm not a Sitka guy, but worked great. The another Sitka piece that worked with my gunner vest or the ballistic vest.
Yep.
I will say the magnetic clip instead of the zip probably helped me a lot with getting comfortable behind the rifle in that super quick situation. Another huge one that really worked well for me was my crispy boots, my Nevadas. Those are now my main ones. I put them to the absolute limit this past week, and they performed flawlessly.
Excellent.
Great enough support so where I did some heavy climbs, they were fine. But when I had weight on them, they still had a good amount of support, and they were very comfortable, easy to layer and take off.
Okay.
I will say another piece of gear that performed incredibly well was this hat, the Hydra hat from Going. Breathable. It worked well with the water. It didn't ruin it. Complaints I have from gear, honestly, the atmosphere jacket, it's almost too warm. Which is
that a complaint or is that a...
It's kind of a complaint.
Yeah.
I just need to find a lighter mid layer because I was using it as an outer layer and it worked perfect for the mornings, perfect for when I was packing out. It was great when I was cold to the bone.
Okay.
But when I was hiking in, I felt like it was just too much warm.
Interesting.
But at the same time, I run really warm. So I even had a Cirque vest from Stone Glacier on, and I was still too warm. So that's not really a complaint. I will say the atmosphere jacket, though, overall performed great.
Nice.
Like that was the only piece of like insulation besides like my Grumman that I really did.
Okay.
The Crazy Creek 2.0 chair. I switched up glassing pads for this trip, and I went to that Crazy Creek. Game changer for me. As a person who has like a pretty bad lower back, like sensitive, just from years of like lifting and like working out, that thing was amazing to glass off of and sit, and just I could sit for hours of any angle, any slope, and be completely comfortable.
Okay.
That was a big highlight. Most of my gear performed fantastically. Like I didn't have a piece of gear minus maybe my tent that I really didn't like. Just from trying. But I would say that the two highlight pieces by far was the initial set and the drifter. And the third one was the so
Nice. Okay.
worthwhile investment on the saw. Very much so. Weight with the pack felt great. But yeah, I didn't have like a ton of complaints. Minus my tent was a little like condensations help.
Sure.
But it's not a very nice. Like it's a nice tent, but
floorless though, right?
Floorless.
Yeah.
Which is like I don't expect that out of a floorless system.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. But overall, I'm very impressed with all my gear. I don't think like the Peak skaters too.
The
The Stormcastle Gators, one of the highlights as well. My rain gear from Stone Glacier, it wetted out, but to be fair, the conditions were pretty brutal. So I think anything besides rubber would have wetted out.
Sure.
I will say it did insulate very well, so I was warm in them. But I don't think that I would say it's a highlight of gear, but I wouldn't say it's a low light.
Okay.
One other actually piece that was a highlight was the initial ascent raincoat. It's the perfect, because it's that universal size, it's the perfect size where I could put it over my rifle and my back.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. And my marsupial vinyl marks.
Marsupial.
The enclosed one.
With a good color? Happy with the color?
Very happy. That me and Swift went to Shields, and I was having a dilemma over the forest green and the coyote brown. I'm very happy I went with the green. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, all my gear performed great. I don't have anything I would really change besides.
Okay. That's coming.
But I'm really excited to have a lighter pack. I will say one thing about the initial ascent. No matter the weight I had in it, it always kind of felt like 30 pounds.
Nice. That's what that's what you want.
Yes and no, because I was running a light setup, and it felt pretty heavy still.
Okay.
So like that's where like it kind of was an issue where it's like the benefits to when I did pack out meat are 100% outweighing any form of complaint I had with it.
Okay.
But when I was like running and gunning up timber roads with like barely anything, it was a little too, like it felt like a lot heavier than it actually was. But when I did have a lot of weight on it, it felt the same, which is really good.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. So like it's not a terrible issue. It's just like if you're looking for an ultralight pack, it's not that. But if you're looking for something that will carry out an entire bear in one trip with one other person, it is that fucking
good. It is the perfect mix of like total comfort. It's not like super duper comfortable, like cushy, like, but it's also not ultralight. Yeah. It's comfortable and breathable where you need it for everything.
Like the times I missed my Stone Glacier pack was when I was lightweight, running around, not a lot of gear, and I wanted something that didn't really feel like I was wearing anything. But when it came to the actual application, I would take that a million times over a Stone Glacier.
Okay. Well, there you go.
When it actually mattered and it actually had weight on it, the initial scent performed much better. So Stone Glacier.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
I think that's a ringing endorsement.
I would say so. But what else do we have to cover?
that's it for this one, really. I mean, stay tuned. We got some videos releasing. So this one will go out Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern, or not Eastern, Mountain Standard Time. And then Thursday there will be a video on our YouTube channel. Yeah. It's going to be either a Tracer RP bipod review that I put on my gun, took it to the range, shot it, and just initial impressions on it, followed by the shooting experience with it, and then my final thoughts. So stand by for that. And then we have 2 taste tests coming up where we're putting ourselves what I fully anticipate to be an absolute hell. Not during, but potentially later. So I have sourced every freeze-dried biscuits and gravy I could find because that tends to be a good baseline. And then I went to Peaks, Mountain House, Pinnacle, Wild Society, Gastronome. I think that's it. And got their most popular flavor, what everyone buys from them. And we're going to try that.
Yep. And then finally down the pipe, a long overdue drifter hydration.
Yep.
We've talked about it a million times on the podcast.
Pull it out of the pack.
We're going to be honest, but I'm telling you now, we're going to be positive.
Yeah, it's drifter definitely is a game changer. I mean, there's a lot of things that I think we've found in the last 6 months, 4 months that have.
I will say, putting it through the ringer this past bear season has. There's some, like I said, there's some cons we've talked about, but there's a lot of pros that kind of outweigh. And we'll get into every little bit of discussion on that, but I have a feeling this can be spend money.
Yep. So yeah, go subscribe to our YouTube channel. What we're doing on the
We're finally starting to move into more video content besides just the podcast.
Yep.
We are very much looking forward to expanding the media operation. We've kind of started out with the podcast. We're going to move into YouTube, and then like we talked about, we have a giveaway, we have tag coming up. There's a lot of things coming down the pipe, and we're really excited to share them with you, and we're excited for you guys to follow along.
Yeah.
As normal, please reach out to us. We really want feedback. Positive, negative. There's a text thing.
If you're on any music delivery service, so Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, any of the other podcast apps, because we are everywhere. At the top of the description, there's going to be a link that says, text us or text me now, something like that. Click that. It'll open text in your cell phone, and you can text us your thoughts, criticisms, whatever. It's anonymous unless you don't want it to be. So,
and we should make a little incentive, like a 10% discount for texting.
Yeah. Okay, cool. If you text us,
we'll send you a promo code.
We will send you a promo code. Also, we're going to be this is kind of in the next 3 to 5 months. We're going to be expanding our website, hunswiftlypodcast.com, into a little bit more e-com stuff. So if we talk about something here or in video and we like it, we'll potentially be able to have it on the website. You can go and order it and get it straight from us. So check out our website. We're gonna there's gear lists going to be uploaded once we do our bear stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna coming down the pipe. I'm gonna go over what I use throughout my entire bear hunt.
Yep.
Swifty's gonna go over what he's using.
Yep.
Those will be 2 independent videos.
The gear list will be on our website.
We'll do a summer scouting kind of gear list.
Yep.
We'll do a tack kind of build and setup.
Yep.
We have a lot of things coming, and we're really excited to share them with you.
Yeah, and I mean, just some knowledge transfer too. So, some reloading stuff. There's one that I've already started talking about, which is like a how to buy a rifle series, because I know that can be an incredibly intimidating process. We may do like how to buy a bow with Quintin, and just what to look for, what questions to ask, what kind of experience to expect. and not be intimidated. Because not being intimidated is cool. Because it's really like having both worked in gun shops and running a gun shop. You can tell when someone's buying their first gun and they're nervous, and I think we can make that a really easy experience for people. Whether you're spending $500 or $5,000, your experience isn't going to change, and I think we can definitely give you guys some sweet information. And if you guys are interested, I might do some reloading stuff because I'm kind of I should bought a new rifle, and I'm going to be getting into
What'd you get?
load. If I know.
I don't even know.
Yeah, it's gonna be my new analog gun. It's a 6 millimeter.
Oh,
Yeah. So, 6 millimeter grid not same time, and just some load development and like that process and all that kind of stuff. And so there's gonna be a lot of cool media things coming, a lot of how-to stuff, a lot of reviews, all that kind of shit. So,
and one thing I want to put out is that if you have some skills and you like our stuff and you want to maybe film or do whatever, just reach out. We're definitely coming into the kind of content space where we're not going to be able to run everything ourselves.
Yeah.
And if you have some skills,
we are. I can tell you right now. I'm looking to hire an editor for video. So if you guys you like video editing, or you would like to get into video editing, you have any type of portfolio or reel, go ahead and send it to taylor@hunswiftlypodcast.com, and let's see if we can do some business.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, we're definitely expanding our operation a little bit. And we'd love to have you guys come potentially join the Hunt Swiftly media team. So, yeah.
Well, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Yeah, we'll see you
later.
Thanks, guys.